Yo, what's going on, guys? Sekapoko here, bringing you another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. For this, we'll be going over... Jake. We'll be going over my free-to-play tier list, Part 2. So if you guys haven't seen Part 1, go ahead and check that out. It'll go over most of the placements for the earlier placements that we had for the free-to-play tier list. I think if I remember, I'll put a card description and a link over there somewhere. Jake's here. He wants to say hi. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Alright guys, so it has been quite a bit of time. I think the last time I updated this was in June of this year. It is now November, and we're going to be going over the free-to-play tier list. And what this is we're going to be going over all of the free-to-play units in the entire game that are currently out on both the Japanese version and the global version, taking some consideration of what people said about the last tier list, what people liked, what people didn't like, and of course, we're going to add in the units that we forgot. Not all of them, but some of them. Because, you know, Fortnite units, I'm not going to touch those yet still. So let's go over the rankings for this tier list and talk about them a little bit. So this list does not rank these units individually and rank them against each other. What it is going to do is going to group them in tiers and whether they're going to be good units, bad units, whatever. And it's only 4 tiers in this tier list just to make it really easy for everybody to understand what you should do about these units, whether they're good or bad. So this ranking system is labeled based on how good these units are and how good they are in future content as well as current content. This list is going to rank free-to-play units versus other free-to-play units, not versus rare recruits, and not compare them against a lot of other units in the game. So it's not based on 100% free-to-play accounts. This is based on you using like a legend captain like you normally would, as well as free-to-play characters as subs. And it doesn't presuppose you have every legend in the game. It doesn't presuppose that you have like some legends in the game. This just helps you out in understanding like, hey, if you have like a decent legend pool or some legends in the game, these are units that you should farm just in case you do pull other legends, or if you just want to play the game and have a good time with it. So must farm units. These are units that you must farm, and they're so useful on your free-to-play teams as well as your rare recruit teams that you just can't justify not farming them. Useful units are useful in many different situations, and they're not useful in all content, but they are useful in a lot of situations that you would, but they are somewhat replaced by rare recruits, and you would see using rare recruits over these units in certain situations because these units are good, they're just not that good. And power creep units that are great, but really have fallen off and just you don't use that often anymore because there are so many other units in the game that you can use that would work so much better with your teams, and you just really don't think they're that great. And trash units that are so bad you should never even bother farming them. Now, in my opinion, if you're going to be playing One Piece Treasure Cruise into the very late game, no matter what, you should always farm must-farm units, useful units, and power cup units. If you guys are more of a casual player, must-farm units are definitely a must-farm. Useful units, farm as many as you possibly can. And of course, power cup units, if you really don't have the time to farm them because you just your life is just not allowing you to do so, of course you can skip them. But if you do miss out on them for a specific team, do not be mad. And then trash units, of course, you can always skip. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and start on the free-to-play tier list. Woohoo! I know you guys have been waiting. So the first thing we're going to be going over is going to be treasure mode units. So what are the must-farm treasure mode units? What are the ones you really want to have? What are the ones you should have in your box? And what are the ones that you just cannot live without? So the first, of course, the next one coming out to the global version, which I'm just labeling as global right now. Major change to this tier list, of course, I'm adding a global and JP column. I might mess up, sorry, because I don't play global that often. Doing my best. We got Jack in the must farm tier. Guys, if you do not have Jack on the global version and you're thinking about skipping this treasure mode, don't. He is definitely a must farm treasure mode unit. You'll be using him for the next 3-4 months, so definitely farm him. Enel is going to be the next treasure mode unit, I believe, after that. It might be Shanks, it might be Enel, I don't know. But either way, it might be Big Mom. I don't know. I mean, global's weird. Who knows? Enel, super awesome unit. Definitely the best free-to-play speed farming captain in the entire fucking game. He's even the best rare recruit farming captain because Enel does 56,000 per captain every single turn. It's amazing. It's the best character in the game for speed farming. If you don't want to farm your Fortnites and you just want to meme him up, Enel. If you don't want to do anything in the content, Enel. He's so awesome. As a sub, you can use his special ability multiple times, so he's great. Love that character a lot. Then we got Treasure Mode Shanks. Treasure Mode Shanks, to me, is kind of like a borderline unit. Like, I would actually consider him almost in the useful tier. But you know what? Right now on JP, he is still in the must farm tier, and I think he's going to stay there for a while. As a captain, he's pretty good. He has a good heal ability and everything, good damage on him. I'll probably do a showcase for him at some point, but I just haven't gotten around to it. definitely a good character. Sabo, must farm tier, really good for cerebral teams. And again, if you are a person that loves your cerebral teams, you love that Robin team, you love that V2 Law team, definitely have your Sabo farmed out. He's a must farm unit. Treasure Mode Ace is arguably the best free-to-play captain in the game for damage. I don't know if that's true anymore, but he's still extremely good, right? I mean, I would rather use Enel for every set of content than Ace, but Ace still does more damage, right? So there's that. Then we got Treasure Mode Boa. So Treasure Mode Boa, this is not going to be a controversial choice to put her in the must farm tier, but I was really teetering. Like, I almost put her into the useful tier. And then I thought about it for a second. I was like, wait, if I put her in the useful tier, then I have to put Sabo in the useful tier. So wait, I'm just being weird. I'm just being weird about my thoughts and feelings about Boa. I really just don't like Treasure Mode Boa, but she's a very good unit. She's a very, very good unit for shooter teams. I like the way she plays. I don't like the way she her kit works. If you have played with her before, you might know what I'm talking about. If you haven't played with her before, then on paper she sounds good, but until you experience her, you'll then understand what I'm talking about. Of course, Gear 4 Luffy, it's one of the best characters in the game to have for your color affinity. You don't really use them that much on the Japanese version anymore, because random orb manipulation not always the best idea, but still good. Then moving down to the useful tier, I actually moved Zoro Sanji from the must farm tier down to the useful tier. And the main reason that he went down is because typically I do not want to move characters from a must farm tier to a useful tier or a useful tier down unless there's like a major reason. And the major reason Zoro Sanji's moving down is because there's just really no reason to use a Zoro Sanji team almost ever. There is one set of content that I did find him extremely useful for, and it was Raids Zoro. But beyond that point, I don't really see the use of using Zoro Sanji because I'm going to use free-to-play Raid Zoro for content versus Zoro Sanji. Unlike anytime I'm thinking about using for content, I'm going to use Zoro over Zoro Sanji. And that is a power creep right there because his name is Zoro. So that's the choice that I'm going to make there. Most times I would use Zoro Sanji. I understand. Crocs and Global? Really? Okay. See? I missed one. Crocs and Global, by the way. Croc, definitely in the useful tier. Very good unit. Really good for category teams. Not that great outside of category teams, but definitely good for like buggy teams and such. He's a good unit, and I definitely think that he is a unit that you do need to farm, but he's not a must farm unit. Like, he's one of those units that's a really good unit for certain situations for free-to-play teams, but again, you don't need to farm him. He's not going to, like, your whole account is not going to suffer from not having him, but he's still a good unit. TM Big Mom, she cool. She's not amazing, but she cool. And then the last unit that's going to move down is going to be Treasure Mode Mihawk. Main reason he is moving down is because there are so many free-to-play units that I would rather use on a slasher team than Treasure Mode Mihawk. And the first thing, his name is Mihawk, so he's super limiting. And if you're ever going to use a legendary captain like Mihawk Captain, that's the first part that's limiting. If you're going to be... his name being Mihawk is just super bad. I have not seen a slasher team in a long time. And a lot of people might hate me for this moving Mihawk down. But to be honest, can you tell me the last time you used Treasure Mode Mihawk? I mean, anyone? Like, the only thing I used him for recently was Wave Clear. And it's because he did 200,000 Wave Clear. But that's the only thing I used him for. So, he's, in a lot of ways, that's all that he's good for. But if you guys found a way to use Treasure Mode Mihawk and you think he's really good, please let me know in your comment section down below. I want to know why I should keep him in the useful tier or the must farm tier or whatever tier you think he should be in, because there's got to be a reason, right? I need a reason, and I just don't have one. Kizaru, of course, is staying in the power creep tier because no one likes Kizaru. I use Kizaru like 4 times more than Mihawk, which is really funny, but it's just because he's like useful for that Dex and a beneficial orb enable. And the next we're going to go over is going to be Colosseums. And we're not going to go over Kai Raids and Kai Colosseums. That's going to be in a whole different section. So, the most recent Colosseum, which is the Oven Colosseum for the Japanese version, is insane. Definitely farm. Oh my god, is Oven good. Definitely a must farm unit. Or he's like Colosseum Lucy 2.0. But that does not mean Colosseum Lucy got worse. Colosseum Lucy is still very, very, very good. And the reason Colosseum Lucy is still very good is because Colosseum Lucy has an HP cut, which is still insane. Goes through barriers. That's so good. So Colosseum Lucy could move down. To be honest, he could, but here's the thing: you can use both, Oven and Lucy. There's no conflict between the two. So they're both must farm units in my opinion. I mean, if you're gonna make a Lucy team, right? You can still use Kala Lucy and you can use Oven. There's no conflict. I don't know why you would use both, but you could. I mean, there's orb manipulation for both stages. I mean, there's options, and yeah, I don't see any problem. Colosseum Neptune just came out to the global version. Definitely a must farm. TS Kid, whenever it does come out to the global version, super amazing unit. That 600,000 wave clear that he does up to 1.2 million is insane. You guys is so good, and we use him all the time. So definitely a great unit. Nothing else really moving down from the must farm tier that I can see. As far as useful units go, I haven't really moved anything down. We haven't changed anything from last time. The only thing I was considering is moving Colosseum and Ideo up, but there are other free-to-play units that you can use, and there's lots of rare recruits that you can use. So I don't really know. The thing is, I prefer, if I was going to use a fighter team, I'm going to use Raid Bellamy over Colosseum Ideo. That's my thought. But it really is going to depend on type advantage, so he's going to stay in the useful tier. Then for the most recent Colosseums, there are three most recent Colosseums, which are going to be Kuma, Tamago, and Daifuku. And all three of those are going to be just flat out in the useful tier. They're good. You don't need to farm them, though. To be honest, I don't think you even need to max them. I went through the last treasure mode, the last couple of raids, and I didn't even max these guys. It didn't even matter. Like I played One Piece Treasure Cruise super light for the last like 3 months for Colosseums, and it didn't even matter that I didn't max these guys. There was nothing insane about them that was really good. And Opera is now on global. So Colosseum Opera moving from the must farm tier down to the useful tier. Still a good unit, but it's in the same category as these new 4 Colosseums here, and they're all useful. They're just not like, you don't need to farm them, right? They're good. You just don't need to farm them. The only other unit that's changing on this tier list is going to be Brindy World moving down to the Power Creep tier. And the main reason he is moving down to the Power Creep tier is because every legend that you're going to be using as a captain, if you're going to be using a shooter team, is going to have a much better, is already going to have that type boost, so you're not really going to need it. If you're using Frankie as a captain, if you are using the new Count Capone Beige as a captain, if you're going to be using Ace as a captain, they all have type boosts. So you don't need Brindy World. And there's no reason to bring him on the team, to be honest. There's more spots for other people. He's not really a unit you're going to use anymore. And the next is going to be raid bosses. And these ones we're excited about because there's a lot of good raids that just come out. And of course, I put in Fuji. Sorry, guys, from last time. We got Raid Judge, super amazing unit that came out to the Japanese version. Definitely farm him when it comes to the global version. Really, really strong unit for color affinity. And he is a linchpin unit for V2 Jinbei teams. So definitely, if you do pull V2 Jinbei, he's a great unit for those teams. Raid Blackbeard, insane unit. Definitely farm him. He's good for Shiki teams, but also he's good outside of Shiki teams. So just know that he's a great, great unit. The only thing that's bad about Blackbeard is that his type boost is dependent on your HP, and that really doesn't matter on if you're going to be using the Blackbeard, because you usually don't even need to use the type boost on Blackbeard. Usually you just use him for the utility that he provides, which is really great. Then we got Cracker. Cracker is definitely a must farm unit for both. I do use Cracker a lot more than I thought. I was very surprised. Really, really, really surprised that I use Cracker as much as I do. So yeah, he's going to stay in the must farm tier. Really great unit to have. I think he just came out to global with the V2 Sanji raid, so just know that he's still a good unit. Fujitora, still good for powerhouse teams. Whenever a new powerhouse team comes out, we're still going to use V1 raid Fujitora, so no problem there. Raid Zoro, if you didn't know, wow, super, super amazing unit. One of the best driven slasher captains in the game. Just insane unit. When he does come out to the global version, just know that he is a 100% must farm unit. There's no question. Raid Lucci already came out. Of course, it just came to the global version as well. Of course, it's a must farm unit. The rest of those are going to stay the same. There's nothing really changing here. The only thing I'm really considering moving down is Rayleigh. Rayleigh is... I don't use him, ever. There's never a situation where I want to use Rayleigh. And I don't know if it's because I have a lot of rare recruits, but like there's just never a situation I want to use Rayleigh. He takes too long. But, you know, there could be a situation where you need him. I don't know. So... Maybe my account is too rare recruit heavy. We'll have to see. Bellamy, though. Bellamy, if you didn't know, with his most recent limit break batch, went from 2 sockets to 5 sockets. Yeah. So Raid Bellamy got a massive boost in this last limit break batch. So that's a big boost. It's a trend they're going to start for more raid bosses. So interesting that they're doing that. I was really considering moving him up to the must farm tier, but I'll leave him in the useful tier for now. There are other units that are rare recruit and free to play units that you can use that are, and there's a lot of them for both driven and fighter that you can use. So we'll just leave him in the useful tier for now. Whatever fighter or boost you want to use, it's great. Nothing else really changing for the useful tier except for version 2 Dofi. And the reason version 2 Raid Dofi is going to move from the power cup tier up to the useful tier is not because he came to the Japanese version. It's because on the global version, when he came out, there was literally no content for him to be useful in. There was nothing. Like you didn't even use him for the treasure mode. There was nothing. Once you come out to the JP version, there was actually content that he's useful for. And there's ways that you can use him on the JP version that is really interesting. With the new legend batches coming out, the cerebral units come out, etc. There's lots of interesting units that you can use it for. And the thing is, since it's a driven captain, you don't even have to use it. You don't have to use it with like V2 Dofi. You can use it with 6+ Judge Captain. You can use it with 6-star Judge Captain. You can use it with what's another guy? You can use it with Big Mom if you want to, because that's driven. For cerebral captains, there's not a ton, but anything that does come out in the future that is a cerebral captain or a driven captain, you can use. So there's lots of options. And as the legend pools increase, I think V2 Dofi is going to see more and more use as time goes on. Not the most amazing unit, but definitely an interesting unit to see. His Orb Shuffle is pretty cool, and I did use him quite a bit on, I think, one of the most recent treasure mods. So definitely interesting unit. As far as raid bosses go for the rest of them are more power crept or trash. Of course, there's nothing else that's new here, except what's really weird is this is the only character I haven't changed really to move up to the useful tier. And I actually didn't want to do it. I saw him earlier today, and I thought about moving him up, and I was like, wait, should I move him up? Should I not move him up? And the thing is, for V2 Jinbei teams specifically, he would move up to the useful tier. For shooter teams, not so much. There's like a lot of other units you can use for orb manipulation for shooters. There's a lot. Like any unit that you would think of for shooters, there's a ton of units for shooter orb manipulation. But for Jinbei teams, he would be in the useful tier. Beyond that, he's power crept. So I'm not sure what I would want to do. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that Heraclesion deserves to move up to the useful tier just for the V2 Jinbei teams? Or do you think he's good at where he is? Like, I'd love to know your thoughts, and I'm not sure. And I just really don't know how to be objective about that or think about this properly. And for Kai raids, I think they stopped. I don't remember the last Kai raid. But they're all basically the must farm Kai raids. I really should put Enel in the must farm, but the thing is, and he's going to stay in the useful tier here, by the way. The reason he's staying in the useful tier is because you don't get cotton candies on global. So on JP, when he comes back around, farm him. But on global, don't farm him. Boa, I don't know, because we haven't had a repeat of Boa yet. Main reason there is that there's a cotton candy farm that circulates around that. So the unit itself is not great, but the rewards that you get out of farming that are good. So I don't know. It's kind of tough. Then we got the only really addition. There's not really additions here, except we're changing a lot of these from global JP only to global. So no major additions to Kai raids and such. Those are pretty much exactly the same. Then for ambushes and invasions, of course, we're gonna have Invasion Sengoku or Ambush Sengoku, definitely in the must farm tier. Garp staying in that tier, Whitebeard staying in his tier, Shanks is the same, and Cavendish is still duty. Now, I haven't really had a lot of time to work on this tier list, and because I've been busy with trying to find work and everything, but I will at some point think about using a Fortnite tier list. But the thing is, there's so many Fortnite units. There are like the whole thing about this Fortnite thing is that it could be an entire tier list for just Fortnite units. There is more Fortnite units than every other unit that I have in here combined. So there's so many, and I just don't know if I want to put in the Fortnite tier list here. So there's so many. Some are useful and some are power crept, some are trash. You just don't know. And for story mode units, I haven't found a ton that are good. These are the only 4 useful ones that I've seen in the entire game. The 5+ Dofi, Senior Pink, Hody, and Burgess. They're the only ones that I've seen that are even like remotely good. So beyond that, for story mode, I don't recommend farming anybody. They're pretty much all garbage at this point. You're not going to need them. But these are the only ones that I would even consider. Guys, I haven't had a ton of time, as I said, to work on this tier list and add in like things month after month after month and work everything because I still have to work on the other tier list and I gotta work about life and stuff. So I do want to keep up this up to date as best I can, but again, it is kind of hard to get everything in here and get everything sorted perfectly for you guys. So let me know what you guys would like to see in this tier list, what you would want to take out, what you want me to put in, etc. So I can make this as most efficient as possible to get you guys hopefully monthly updates on this. I don't know if I can consistently do that, but I'll just see what I can do as far as updates for free-to-play tier list, maybe every 2 months or so, because we don't get like a ton of units every single time. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if you did, like, subscribe, all the fun stuff. And of course, if you do want to get more content, go ahead and check out all the videos on my channel. There's tons there, and you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.